I am going to make kombucha. Kombucha! I put in 5 green tea bags and 5 black tea bags, and I'm gonna pour in 1.7 litres of water because that's all my kettle can accommodate, and I can't be bothered to boil anymore. So see how this works, and I'm gonna let it brew for about 5 minutes. Okay, I've fished out the tea bags and I'm gonna add in sugar because it's sad times. I just have to work with what I've got in my cupboard. So dark sugar will do just fine. I mean, I'm sure it's absolutely fine. I don't know how much I'm gonna put in. Maybe like this much. Sweet enough, but not too sweet. As you can tell, I'm not following a recipe at all here. Okay, so sugar's in, I'm just stirring it. Also, the reason why I'm not adding a huge amount of sugar is because I'm going to do a syrup, so this is going to be a flavoured kombucha, meaning the syrup will sweeten it. Anyway, I'm going to make rhubarb syrup because I've got so much of it. But yeah, sugar stirred in. I'm gonna let it brew for a week. Keep an eye on it, but that should hopefully do it.
Right, the kombucha is looking ready. I have tasted it. Scoby's looking quite nice and healthy. It will get thicker, obviously, but it's only been a week. However, I did have to add a bit of extra vinegar because it turned out I didn't put enough sugar in the first place, and it probably wasn't in a warm enough place, so I had to move it in the living room where it's a bit warmer, so it got going much quicker then. But I'm now gonna make a rhubarb syrup to go with it, picked from my allotment. Making syrup is really quite easy. All you have to do is use equal amount of water and sugar. Sugar is preservative, so you can make loads. It will keep, and you can just use it in the next batch if you have some left over. And you simmer it for about 10 minutes until you get the stickiness. And add this rhubarb for flavour. So you don't have to actually stew it, just simmer for about 10 minutes and you'll get the flavour in.
Alright, whilst my syrup's simmering away, I'm gonna remove the SCOBY to a new home, which goes here. Always keep the SCOBY at room temperature if you want to keep it alive. With some food, which is a bit of liquid, so it can feed on that. And what will happen next is, once the syrup's done and cooled down, it will go in this pot, and this will then get bottled. So technically you could drink the kombucha now already. You could let it go a bit longer to have a bit stronger taste. I don't like mine tasting that vinegary. I quite like the soft taste. But also I really like to play around with different syrups. Probably the weirdest syrup I've made at work was date and banana. I think that's the moon Gemini in me, just getting really curious and creative and wanting to try different things. Ideally, I'd love to use strawberry and rhubarb, but strawberry's not quite ready yet. It's coming along, so that'll be hopefully my next flavour. The ratio I use for the syrup is, where's my bottle gone? There we go. 300 millilitres of kombucha, which goes around here. And then 30 millilitres of syrup, so you top it up. But rather than doing it separately, I calculated how many bottles I have. I got 4, so 4 times 300 millilitres. And then 4 times 30 millilitres, and then mix it up all together in one pot, and then pour it all in, so you've got the consistent amount of things in each bottle. These are definitely the best bottles because you can just easily seal them, unseal them. They're perfect. So go and source these if you if you know anywhere where you can get them. Good excuse to drink beer as well.
Okay, I've strained the rhubarb and waiting for it to cool down before I add it in the kombucha.
Right. The syrup has cooled down. There's a bit more than I would normally put, but you know what? Fuck it. Let's just put it all in. I don't want to save just a small amount and keep it in the fridge. Just mix it a bit. I like to taste it at this point. And it's time to pour it in. Just make sure your bottles are thoroughly clean. Won't stop any sort of funky stuff happening to your fermentation in the bottle. Maybe a bit more. It's sort of a nozzle thing is actually really handy, unless you have a funnel, but I don't have it at home, so this works just perfect. Here they are looking real handsome. I'm going to give it about 5 days. It's quite warm right now. If it was winter, if it was really cold, maybe a week, maybe more. You can test it by popping the cork, but obviously you will then let out gas, so maybe don't try every bottle. Okay, at this point, when you have bottled your kombucha, you could make a new batch if you drink a lot of kombucha at home. So just brew a new batch of tea. But the thing to keep in mind is try not to use tea bags with oils such as Earl Grey or peppermint. For some reason they don't really work with SCOBY. But yeah, definitely try new things such as the red bush, or I'm sure you can look all that up online. But I'm very excited to try mine. Okay, the day I waited. Homemade rhubarb kombucha. This is the bit. This is day 7, so it should be nice and bubbly. In fact, I know it is because I gave a bottle to my allotment neighbour yesterday, but I'm a bit scared of doing this. Bit of an anticlimax. It's nice and fizzy though. And really good. I'm gonna make this again, definitely.